Well, hello, this is Deborah Johnson with the Power of After show. And today is all about goals for the new year, as this is being released at the end of a year, but really it's applicable for so many times of the year. And the start of a new year, it brings fresh energy, renewed motivation, and the opportunity to reset our direction. Yet many people, they create goals without structure, and this results in a lot of good intentions, but very little progress. And in fact, well known statistics, they verify that between 88 and 92% fail to achieve their New Year's goals, or what are called resolutions. And a powerful year, it begins with clarity, with alignment, and a workable plan. And this show, an accompanying article that comes with it outlines a step-by-step framework for setting meaningful and practical goals built around your big picture with quarterly focus, lifestyle alignment, and all of this with a reflective evaluation. And it also emphasizes the importance of core values, purpose, travel plans, and dedicated time for thinking. These are key ingredients for a fulfilling and productive year. So this process, it doesn't have to be overwhelming, but just strategic and intentional. So stay tuned. Power of After is for you at mid-career, halftime of life, helping you maximize your skills, resources, and experience. We have courses, products, and help to make this stage of your life your best and most purposeful ever. Don't miss a single article, free download, or podcast. Get all the latest at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Michael Hyatt is a well-known leadership expert, a former CEO of Thomas Nelson Publishers, and the creator of Full Focus Planner. And he's widely recognized for teaching high achievers how to set goals, how to avoid burnout, and manage their lives with clarity. And his main premise is to design your year, or your year will design itself. And at this point in his life, well, he's created lots of freedom so we can take a month off or 2 months or whatever. So Hyatt's yearly goal-setting method, it revolves around intentional, holistic planning that recognizes really all domains of life, not just a career. Now, another influential leader and the author of Atomic Habits, it's James Clear. And it's one of the best-selling personal development books of the past decade. And if you haven't read it or reread it recently, now is a good time to do so. And his work, it focuses on the psychology of habit formation and long-term achievement. And his main premise is that you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. Wow. Clear believes that you must build systems that make goal achievement automatic and sustainable. And I outline some of my very simple systems in my book, The Power of After. I've used them for years. They work. They don't have to be super involved. So I continue to be inspired by both of those leaders, and I believe strongly in the power of planning, especially as we face the year ahead. Every strategic plan, it begins with vision. The big picture answers the deeper questions such as, where am I going? What kind of life do I want? Who am I becoming? And what matters most this year? Now, with this show, with this article that comes with it, there's a free download. It's kind of a brainstorming worksheet. So make sure you get that to make a note of some of your answers. Now, this doesn't have to be a difficult task, but it does take a little time, and you should put aside some of that time to think carefully about your year ahead. It will pay off. And we focus here on 4 main steps to help you move ahead. Just 4. Very simple, but very logical. Good review time for all of us. So step one, define the big picture. This is just like, okay, where are you going? It's just like taking a trip. Where are you going, right? The big picture is just as it's not just a list of tasks. It's just that container. It's that main idea that holds all of your decisions. And when you know the overarching direction, well, the smaller goals you set have a purpose and intention. Again, just like taking a trip, you know where your stops are going to be. So part of your big picture should be the clarification of your core values. And if you need help with this, see the appendix of my book, Stop Circling. It's an excellent chapter on this, and it will really, really help you. It's very simple. It has a worksheets in it as well. So your core values should be consistent, and they should provide stability. They're not refining. They provide a solid base for both your personal and your professional life, and they're your internal compass. So consider the following as you craft your big picture for the year. Here are some things to think about. Identify the values that you want guiding your year, such as maybe integrity, yes, curiosity, excellence, health, big one is health, faith, that is huge, freedom, contribution, family connection, or even personal growth, professional growth. And out of that, you can better determine your purpose or your why. And think about maybe just simple, like maybe 3 things that are most important. That'll help you not be overwhelmed with this. So your big picture should include where you want to be and what you want to be known for. Even if you're thinking, oh, I don't need to be known for anything, it's still important. Also, specific areas that you want to grow and change. And I guarantee you, there's so much satisfaction in this. There's so much just contentment and excitement about it. That's what you want. You want a fulfilling chapter of your life. And in this process, you want to clarify your desired lifestyle. Now, many people, they skip over this and they find themselves just stressed and overwhelmed. Well, define how you want your days to feel. It's not like you want to just sleep in every day. No, but what do you really want to do? How do you want those days structured? Maybe you want to have a little more free time, but you still want to have some purpose. And do you desire more of a margin of time, maybe just more free time, more adventure, more travel, more creativity, more financial margin? That would be another one. Or maybe just simplified routines, right? This lifestyle clarity, it grounds your planning in what is truly meaningful instead of what's just simply merely urgent, just coming upon you. There's going to be things that pop up as urgent, but you want to be planned enough to make it as simple as possible and free-flowing as possible. Now, if you've determined your long-term goals, defining your big picture for the year, well, it'll really help you move forward in achieving some of those goals. And if it's been a while since you've revisited some of your goals, or if you've really never thought through them enough to clearly define them, well, I encourage you to take some time to do so. And I have more free worksheets. The link is in the article and in this show. Those links, go there and get them. Your long-term goal, it acts as a North Star. And each year, you are defining part of your journey. So picture your life 12 months from now. Just kind of dream a little bit with these questions. Well, where are you going to live? Are you in the same place? Are you going to move? What are you working on? Are you going to work on another project? Oh, maybe an art project. Maybe something else that you just always wanted to do. Or maybe a sports activity. What have you completed, strengthened, or changed? Is there anything that you've changed? A remodel, maybe in your office. Or how do you feel physically, mentally, relationally, spiritually? I mean, what about your health? All of those questions, will they become even more important at mid-career or half-time of life? Because I guarantee you the years are ticking by faster and faster. They're going fast. So you want to take the time with some of those questions. So let's move on. That's the big picture. Let's move on to step 2. Review the previous year. What went well? Now, this can be really eye-opening. It's a little scary sometimes because you really want to just face some reality here. Before you set new short-term goals for the year, evaluate the year behind you. Now, this reflection, it ensures that you just don't repeat mistakes and helps you build on momentum that already exists. So here's some good questions to ask. I'm all about questions because the questions really, it helps us think. So what worked? In this, you want to list successes, whether they're big or small. I mean, these can be even tiny little successes. And did you launch something new? Maybe a business idea, or maybe you've launched a podcast. Some people are just starting podcasts. How exciting. Well, what was the process like and how successful was it? Maybe some of the challenges. Did you build better habits? Wow. And what were they and what was the outcome? This could have been either working out, this could have been a new course that you're taking, maybe studying more about AI, taking time to do that. And were there new boundaries you implemented? This could be even with people, relationships. What were they and how successful were they? And here, this leads right into here, what relationships were strengthened or became maybe too difficult to continue? And did you increase your knowledge or your skills, and in what areas? Don't be afraid of that. And did you save money or did you overspend? And on what? And in what ways did you prioritize your health? This becomes more and more important as well. Very, very important. What activities filled you with energy? Now, here's 4 takeaways from those questions. You first identify the main activities, the people and projects that energized you. And these should point toward alignment with your purpose and your strengths. With all of those questions, you should be able to align that. And second, you can identify what felt draining or misaligned. And this is your warning light. Anything that consistently drains you, well, it might need adjustment, delegation, or even elimination. Now, this can include projects. Oh, it can also include people. There are those individuals that will just absolutely drain our energy if we let them. And they don't need to be in our close circle of contacts, even if they're a colleague. I talk about this in my book, Women at Halftime. We don't have to have them in our close circle. They can be just acquaintances, or you can keep them at a little bit of a distance, especially emotionally. You don't have to be close that way. And from all of those questions, third, what did you learn? Growth often hides just in challenges. So identify some of the key lessons so they become strategic tools, not just forgotten experiences. And this involves adapting a healthy mindset with a lifelong learning focus. I talk a lot about lifelong learning, how important that process is, and not to be thinking that we know it all. We definitely don't. And then lastly, what on this list deserves to continue? You want to carry forward what is working well. This is like the low-hanging fruit. Just carry that forward. Build on it. The systems, the rhythms, the habits, the relationships and commitments really that support your next chapter, and really that support your next chapter full of happiness and contentment. And taking the time to do this, it will be one of the best uses of your time for the coming year, that planning. So now we're going to go to step 3. We've just gone through evaluating what was really working, what was maybe not working as well. And now we're going to look at the year by quarters. And I have a whole podcast on this. I've written about this in yearly planning, quarterly planning. And the quarterly planning, it's the bridge between that big picture direction and really the weekly execution. It makes it so much easier. And instead of overloading January with all of these unrealistic expectations, like losing 20 pounds or whatever we do, divide your year into 4 focused segments. And quarterly planning is a good way to determine really short-term goals, which are building blocks, step by step by step, of long-term success. And these steps are designed to be achieved in a relatively short time frame. They should be immediate and actionable, and they provide a sense of focus and direction and actually extreme satisfaction. Don't you love crossing things off a list? If you're like me, you do. I just love that. Just feel like, okay, I've got it done. Now, here are some reasons why quarterly planning really works. It creates natural checkpoints for evaluation, and you can divide projects into those little small increments to accomplish step by step. And it also creates freedom to move, whatever isn't accomplished to the following quarter. It prevents overwhelm. The steps should be small and measurable. And it increases momentum through focused seasons. Now, this has become important for my music products, is some of them are seasonal, like Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I have music for those different times of years. And that's important for me to put those on that schedule. It's a marketing schedule. And that's part of my yearly planning. And it aligns effort with energy cycles, with personal commitments and travel rhythms. I mean, quarterly planning, it helps in scheduling activities around family, whether that includes kids, grandkids, or even aging and sickly parents. This is a time of life where we deal with a lot of this. And so here are some ideas for a quarterly breakdown. And if this is new to you, a great way to get started is to identify a theme for each quarter. Now, for our example that I'm going to give you here, the quarterly breakdown, I've defined it, it starts in January. And these are just examples. You create your own quarterly focus. So for quarter one, this would start in January. I've put a foundation and focus theme. So this is ideal for establishing systems. So I'm creating the systems, the routines, the health goals, or beginning new projects. And with this focus, you can create very, very small steps that are measurable, such as, okay, I'm going to start taking a walk 4 times a week. Well, that's it. Small, measure it. Make sure you put if you look at the book Tiny Habits by B.J. Fogg, I put the link in the show notes and in the article. This is a great resource for implementing this because he talks about putting your shoes out the night before. And so you have them right there. So there's just no excuse. You got to put those shoes on. You got to take that walk. It's very good. That's a small step. And those are small steps that you want to start measurable for that first quarter. Now, in quarter two, here's another focus, is building and momentum. So now this can be a strong season for expansion, like launching programs, developing deeper work. And that deeper work comes, if you haven't read the book Deep Work, that's very good, by Cal Newport. Very good on how important that focus is of deep work and even executing projects. And this can be a great month of accomplishment, especially if building on what's been strategically defined in your first quarter. So here's an example for quarter three can be renewal and strategic creativity. Oh, I love that word, creativity, right? I'm a creator. And this quarter, it often includes travel, rest, and creative resets. And that stems from really a lot of our background of planning travel during time off of school or in the summer months. And it's perfect for reflection, reading, planning, and slower development work. We recently, my husband and I, Greg and I, just recently got away for a couple days. And every time I do this, I think I need to do this more often, like at least quarterly. Just for a couple nights of just being away, I was able to plan. I was able to go through some of my notes and think, okay, this is where my focus is. Here's projects I've started. Do I want to really continue them? Such a good time. Quarter three is a great time. Really, each quarter could be a good time of doing that a little bit. But quarter three, usually it leaves more opportunity for that, especially for travel. And here's an example for quarter four is completion and celebration. And that's here we're going toward the end of the year. It's where we close those open loops and we finish our projects, we refine our systems, and really we prepare for the next year with new and renewed goals and objectives. Now, these are all just very general. And the quarterly rhythms, they ensure that your goals, they match real life rather than just a fantasy schedule of starting someday I've heard starting someday so often. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that. I've known people, they never get to that. And they've wasted a year. They've wasted 2 years. They've wasted 5, now 10. It just goes so fast. So let's go to step 4. This is worth it. This is not just rigid. This is fun. Make this fun. So set your measurable goals for each quarter. This is the time you've set the overview. Now, once your big picture vision is clear for each quarter, now it's time to choose those measurable goals. And these should be measurable. You should be able to evaluate them. Did I accomplish them? Did I get them done? Did I move ahead? And these goals become the milestones that turn your vision into reality. And again, make sure you download our free goals worksheets. They will provide some helpful reminders. And your goals should be, first of all, measurable. How will you know you've accomplished a goal? Well, you should have a way to clearly evaluate your progress with the dates for evaluation and completion. They should be aligned with your purpose and with your lifestyle. Now, this is important to review yearly because why? Well, our health may change, financial situation may change, and really life circumstances often change. If you don't go through some of those changes, I wonder if this is life. There's change that happens. And your goals should be realistic within the quarter's energy and commitments. Boy, I am very guilty of setting these lofty goals. I'm going to finish this, going to finish. And then things get in the way. But actually, sometimes good things get in the way, and I'm able to complete those and then move ahead, just put it off. But it's extremely rewarding to cross off even a small accomplishment off a list. So don't make this overwhelming. Make this measurable and very satisfying. And your goals should be strategic in building toward your year-end outcome. And this should align with your big picture goal. So I'm going to give you here some step-by-step goals, some examples per quarter aligned with the previous quarterly breakdown that I gave you. And I know this gets a little long, but hopefully it'll inspire you with some ideas. So our quarter 1 goals, just a few. This focusing on strong starts with systems, routines, health goals, or new projects. So here's some ideas for that. Establish routines. This can be exercise, reading, or planning. And by planning rhythms, we mean those routines will repeat and cycle again and again. They're routines. They're a new habit. And you can build systems here. This might be part of that quarter 1. This can be financial organization, business workflows, content calendars. And the goal here is to create a system that can be repeated, and it saves time and energy. I've put in my goals this year, month by month. There are some files I need to clean up on my hard drives. I've got old video files. I've got so much so many videos, so many, downloads. And it's like, I just need, I don't need to save those. I don't need to have all of this space taken up from that. Even on my website, I'm saving some of my old articles, but I'm going to refurbish those because they need updated. Technology changes. A lot of things change. And then in that first quarter, you can also begin foundational projects. And so remember, a foundation is just that. It's solid and sturdy. Every time I think of a foundation, I think of visiting the Twin Towers in New York and seeing how everything was just gone. But then when they started rebuilding, they're going to build a strong, strong foundation. Of course, there's the museum, there's everything there now, but it was wonderful to see how they're building new foundations. And of course, a lot of stuff is rebuilt now. But back then, everything was kind of torn apart. This also is a time for strengthening mindset and clarity, especially in this first quarter, to be very focused. And I strongly suggest making time for a personal devotional, whatever that may be for you. I like a personal devotional, right in the Bible, journaling, and reflection. I'm writing down what I'm grateful for. This is important. This is so important. It's not a waste of time. It can be life-changing. If you start out your days like this, it will change a lot of attitudes. So then you want to also prepare for launches or expansion in your second quarter. And the end of this quarter should come with a time of honest evaluation and moving items not accomplished off of the list of the first quarter. Just move on to that second quarter, depending on their importance. I mean, if they're important, put them on that second quarter. It's okay. It's okay. So your quarter two goals, they should really build on your quarter one. You want to launch maybe some new offers, initiatives, or creative projects. And maybe you want to grow your audience or your client base. And for entrepreneurs, this should include growing your email list. Maybe you want to increase revenue generating activities. And these can be live, they could be virtual, anything like this. And maybe deepen skills through strategic learning. There are so many courses online. There are so many opportunities to do this. And it can include both virtual and live courses. There are so many opportunities. And then maybe strengthen partnerships or strengthen collaborations. Get together with some of those people that you've wanted to stay connected with. I've really enjoyed the journey of producing podcasts and all of these interviews. I try to keep in touch with a lot of those interviews. And then for your quarter three goals, you can shift into that creativity and renewal. Schedule that travel. If you don't schedule that travel, it will probably not happen. You've got to schedule that travel. Schedule some times of rest or creative retreats. And some of this scheduling, you've got to plan ahead. You should probably schedule it even the months ahead. Things book up, or if you don't block it out on the calendar, it will not happen usually. And then revisit the big picture. I mean, what's still aligned and what's changed? This is your third quarter. You're getting through the year. And then you want to reevaluate systems and maybe simplify a little bit. And then begin planning for your next quarter, your quarter four, and the next year. It's okay to start it early and then engage in slower, deeper work like writing, research, or restructuring. And then we move into our quarter four. And again, I'm giving you all these examples. Hopefully you can just spur some ideas. You're writing some things down. In quarter four, you want to finish strong. You want to complete some of those major projects. Or you can put off some for the next year, maybe part of it. But it's nice to get stuff done, isn't it? And then to assess revenue goals. Well, that's a good one too. The end of the year, of course, it's a great time to do that. Refine business or personal systems, which is, putting all of that in place of just automation. I talk a lot about automation, how important that is. Prepare content, plans, and materials for the coming year. I try to really look ahead now. It frees me up. And quarter four is a great time to plan. Again, a getaway to plan and evaluate before moving into the year ahead. 2 or 3 days does wonders. And then you want to celebrate wins and acknowledge growth. I really encourage you to spend the time thinking through your main quarterly goals. And without thinking time, most people just drift instead of lead their own life. So let's sum this year, this whole time up together, your year with intention. A new year doesn't automatically just create new outcomes. Well, your choices make that possible. And with a clear picture, meaningful quarterly goals, purposeful reflection, and alignment with your values and lifestyle, well, then you create a year built with intention instead of just reaction. And this framework, it helps you design a life that you want, not just manage the one you have, try to get through your days. And it's an important time to step back, to take that time. As most of us, we don't want to look back with regrets. Some people say, oh, I don't care. But I tell you what, there comes a time when you will, and you do. And as you step into this year, you want to commit to clarity, focus, alignment, and consistent evaluation, really with gratefulness as well. And your future self will thank you. And I thank you today for really joining me. This was, we went through a lot of material today. You might need to listen to this again. make sure you get the article. Make sure you get the free downloads. I provide a lot of free downloads. If you don't get our newsletter, weekly newsletter, make sure you do that too, because I give away a lot of material that will really help move you ahead. Mid-career, halftime of life. I want you to maximize your skills, your resources, your experience. You have so much to give. Not just you giving it to others. It's so fulfilling. I want you to be fulfilled with that. So goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. You can reach me on my Deborah Johnson speaker, DJ Works Music. There's so much material there just for you. So thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to being with you again next time. Bye for now. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I love bringing you insights to help you maximize your skills, resources, and experience at mid-career and beyond, so that you can make your next chapter your most impactful and purposeful yet. I'm Deborah Johnson, and I can't wait to be with you again next time on the Power of After show.